far this year, we're talking about we're teaching and working on becoming as consistent as possible and playing to a certain level for as many of those 48 minutes per game as possible, which is what all teams are doing, and the really good teams do it pretty much every night. And we're trying to get there. So we've had a lot of really good moments throughout this season so far, and we've had some bad ones. Unfortunately, tonight we had way more bad stretches as far as not bringing that consistent level of play as we did good. But there was some moments. Again, I was very happy with our guys. When we made that sub in the third quarter, that group, you got to give them credit. They came in. I think Portland only scored 5 points in those final, however many minutes of the third. And, then as the fourth came, we found some of that spirit again. And we just have to understand at this level against teams like Portland and whoever you're playing, we have to bring it every single night. And that's what we're working towards. So tough one for us tonight. We move forward.
Hey, Luke, just what do you kind of see from what's going on right now compared to when things were kind of clicking? Or are there similar defensive struggles and problems that you had then that you do now? Or are they, almost night and day right now?
Well, teams have been shooting the lights out against us for sure. And, again, I think some of that has to do with, some natural letdown, and some of that has to do with us needing to continue to improve on that end of the court. But it's defense takes a lot of energy, effort, communication, talking, and we missed a lot of that with Richaun out there tonight. But we need to we just need to understand that and really be better at it. I mean, I thought tonight was a perfect example. You saw what it looked like when we got that next group in, and they actually got into the ball, and they actually were calling out coverages and rotating for each other. And that just has to be the standard of play that we have. And again, it wasn't there for enough tonight.
Yeah, Coach Walton, I did ask Harrison Barnes this question. I hope it's not too similar to the one that Sean Cunningham asked, but is this one of those cases where the teams are, their blueprint of you or their scouting report of the Kings, that, that they understand what you guys are doing and they're just taking it to you and they're attacking to you? I just wanted to get your perspective on that.
No, I mean, look, it was Portland tonight. They do what they do pretty consistently. They run their thumb series with the flare screens. You're going to see a ton of pick and rolls from CJ and Dame. They're going to, run occasional lobs for Jones and post ups for Melo. So they didn't do anything different to us tonight than they do, every night. They're a very good team. And we have to be better at what we do. But I wouldn't say they took advantage of our schemes or anything. They just outplayed us. They outworked us tonight.
Hey, Luke, you had to start Tyrese out of necessity tonight, almost because Richaun Holmes missing time. But with the way he's played, with the way some of your other starters haven't played, are you getting close to a point where you might have to make a move in that starting lineup?
Yeah, we've talked about it, James, and Tyrese has been very good. But as far as whether or not starting, you're not always just looking to start the five. I wouldn't even say best guys, but you're trying to constantly find that balance. It's nice to have either Tyrese or De'Aaron on the floor at a time. It's a little easier to separate that when he's coming off the bench. It's given us a nice thrust when we do get to the bench. And that first group, look at the Toronto game and go back to some of the other games too. Like that first group has had some really nice starts as far as getting us out to a quick, a good early lead and whatnot. So everything is always on the table as far as where we can look to make improvements and adjustments. And we've definitely talked about that, with my staff, but right now, it was him starting because of Richaun being out.
Jason Anderson.
Luke, I'll just follow up on that. What if you can let us inside of kind of your thinking on that, what is it that intrigues you about the idea of maybe going with the smaller lineup with Ty in there? And then what's the other view where maybe you want to stay more traditional?
Well, for the most part, rebounding's been a pretty good strength of ours so far this season. And obviously, the more size you have, the better rebounding you're normally gonna do. It allows us to do some more switching and what we call scramming out. Marvin's done a nice job of being able to, if we switch something, rotate over. Harrison does a nice job of it. Gives us some versatility. And a lot of these teams, especially in the West, but around the league now, they're getting pretty big out there. You look up and down, and the 4 or 5 combos around the league are getting pretty big and skilled. So we look at that a little bit, and part of our strength is the pace we want to play with, the speed we want to play with. And that obviously improves, with multiple ball handlers and having more space out there on the court. So we're just, you kind of look at those two things and evaluate from there. But we've gotten off to a pretty good start with obviously a little bit of a setback here in these last few games. But we're, it's something that's is being evaluated that we're looking at.
I just have time for 1 or 2 more. Jason Jones.
Hey, look, when Harrison talked, he talked about needing a sense of urgency and communication. Hassan talked about guys needing to study, know the tendencies of their opponents. These seem like these are all things that come from internally from the players more so than the staff. Just how do you get your guys to come out with the urgency you need on the defensive end and not let teams just get so comfortable?
Well, tonight was bad. I get it, but we come out of that Toronto game and we're up by 20 in the first quarter. I mean, that's coming out with a sense of urgency. Maybe I get some of the games confused, but we've gotten out early on some teams. To me, it goes back to the understanding, Jason, of the consistency of doing it for long stretches. Like every team, both teams are going to go on runs and whatnot. But it's about being good and being consistent and doing it over and over and over. And I know that sounds boring, but it's what the good teams do. And so I don't know if it's as much of starting with the sense of urgency as it is for us maintaining a sense of urgency throughout a 48-minute game. And look, if we were really good at that already, then we'd be a playoff team. That's what we're trying to build towards. So we understand that. We're going to keep teaching. We're going to keep working with our guys, and we know we have, we got a lot. We got to get a lot better as a group.